Before I begin, I want to ask you what your favorite Marvel scene is. Let me know in the comment section below and the reasoning behind why you think it is your favorite scene.
Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
So I normally do Dragon Ball content, but I was extremely motivated and inspired by the One Marvelous Scene initiative that was created by Nando V Movies. A collection of very talented YouTubers got together and created a playlist on what their favorite Marvel scene is. And I enjoyed watching each and every one of these videos, but Nando V Movies did put out a call to action. If you have a Marvel scene that you really like and you make a video, reach out to him and he will add it to the playlist. And I am extremely excited for Avengers Endgame that drops in a few days. I'm going to be seeing it on Thursday, so I wanted to answer this call and create my own video for what I think is my favorite Marvel scene. Now, this scene in question is such a Dragon Ball styled, anime styled scene that it's no wonder it's my favorite scene out of the MCU. And it comes out of a movie that I regrettably kind of skipped out on in the movie theaters. I didn't think that this movie merited me watching it in the movie theaters. I waited till it came out on Blu-ray and 4K, and that's when I watched it and was blown away with how great this movie was, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, the very heart and soul of this movie revolves around family. The family around the Ravagers, the family around the Guardians, and of course, the family around Star-Lord. He finds out that he has a father, and his father is actually a supreme being called a Celestial. Now, James Gunn did a fantastic job writing and directing this movie because this whole project, including with Guardians 1 and thankfully Guardians 3, is his own vision for what the Guardians franchise has to offer the MCU, and this one is probably the most anime styled film out of all of them, and it definitely has that heavy DBZ influence, particularly in one scene that is by far my favorite scene. By the middle of this movie, Ego starts drawing out more of Star-Lord's power. He tells him how powerful he is, he starts playing catch with him, he starts making him aware of the things that he can create while he's on the living planet. And slowly but surely, Ego's trying to draw Star-Lord to his side. But I think that being an uncaring, unfeeling entity really made Ego blind as to how Star-Lord would take the news of Ego killing his mother, because as soon as he tells him, Star-Lord wakes up out of his daze and immediately grabs his guns and attacks Ego. A very impassioned and hot-headed response, and this is one of the main reasons that I give Star-Lord a pass when it comes to Avengers Infinity War, his actions there, because he has always been this hot-headed, this emotional, so him finding out that Gamora actually perished at Thanos' hands makes sense as to his actions right after that. So for me, it was well within character. In Guardians Volume 2 establishes a lot of Peter Quill's character. But this attack, this encounter, is the first versus battle we get between Ego and Star-Lord, and Ego immediately dominates Star-Lord, showing how much more powerful he is. So with this in mind, as we get further into the movie, we get to a point where Ego takes control of his planet, he takes control of his mind, and he takes control of the battle, controlling all aspects, and he begins to crush the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy. As he begins to regain power, he starts destroying the planets that he had visited throughout the decades of his wandering, and so the stakes are extremely high at this point, and Star-Lord is trapped yet again like he was earlier. Ego begins to monologue and tell Star-Lord how insignificant he is. He is only one man among millions and trillions, even more, and so this purpose that Ego has set for him, there is no higher purpose. What other purpose could there be for his existence? And it almost seems like Star-Lord is about to give up, and that's when Yondu gives him this advice.
I don't use my head to fly the arrow, boy. I use my heart.
Yondu is telling Star-Lord that, yeah, you may have all this extreme power, you may have this higher purpose, but as you can see, Ego has no heart, he has no emotions. There are higher purposes more than power, and Yondu is trying to tell Star-Lord this so he can gain control of his abilities and take control of this fight. Essentially, this is the heart of the cards. Love, emotion, passion, your heart. That trumps even the greatest power. And that's where we get the classic DBZ power-up. So this has happened many times in Dragon Ball Z, where a character is facing odds that there's no way that he can defeat. His friends are in peril, or his friends have just died, and so he needs to look inside himself, the Dragon Ball Z character, bring out the power that he didn't know he had. Almost 9 times out of 10, this power requires your heart, your emotions, love, the heart of the cards. Probably the best parallel to this scene is the Gohan versus Cell scene, where Gohan explodes into Super Saiyan 2 to face off against Cell because he realizes that there is no other way, and he has just seen Android 16, a android that loved life, loved creatures, just die right in front of him, and so he felt extremely guilty about it. This is almost the exact same thing. We see all the Guardians being crushed, planets being destroyed, people being killed by these giant blue blobs, and Star-Lord needs to make a choice. So just like the Gohan power-up scene, or the Goku power-up scene, or any power-up scene in Dragon Ball Z, the music changes from this Guardians of the Galaxy very dynamic and sad score. The music slowly swells into Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, and this song is just so perfect for this scene, for Star-Lord's journey. And basically what the lyrics of this song, at least attributed to this movie or this scene specifically, are saying is that, yeah, Ego never loved Star-Lord, and if he doesn't love him by now, he's never gonna love him. So Star-Lord needs to face off against Ego, knowing that his father is not gonna love him, his father's evil, his father's trying to destroy the universe, and he needs to kill his father. And he's also at the same time breaking the chain, because Ego had a plan for him set, giving him power, giving him abilities, and having a destiny for him. And Star-Lord's not about that. He's gonna break the chain, break the cycle, and not go with that plan. He's gonna go with his own plan. And so Star-Lord clenches his fist, the dirt, the air swirls around Star-Lord, and a shockwave emanates from his body, surprising even Ego. And as the music swells even more, Star-Lord says this line:
You shouldn't have killed my mom and squished my Walkman.
Star-Lord takes control of this fight, beating the hell out of Ego, and after this, we get all the Guardians being saved, the planets being saved, because Ego's whole focus is not on everything else, but it's on facing Star-Lord. And you can even tell that Ego's looking weak. He's looking like he's at his edge, he's at the end of the line, and he needs to do this quickly, but he didn't realize that Star-Lord was going to come back with this great power-up, this classic DBZ power-up. This leads to obviously Ego's death and Yondu's death. Unfortunately, Star-Lord loses 2 fathers that day, making him probably the most anime-style protagonist in the MCU. So that's my scene, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different than the content I normally make, but I'm hoping that you enjoyed it nonetheless. Again, make sure you check out that playlist, because it's gonna hype you up for the movie that comes out this Thursday. It's going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Cap? Remember that Aisha chick?
Oh, crap! We're in a tight spot, boy! Yeah, if only we had an insanely accurate weapon that could take on multiple targets at once! and goes through metal.
What, you mean like a bunch of lasers?
I mean, your freaking arrow, dude!
Oh, yeah, sure. I knew that. I just wanted to know if you'd think of it.
Shut your blue face and throw the arrow!
All right, I'm going. Watch out, here comes my arrow. It's everyone.